And I think Ghost Adventures has a unique balance of theatrics and down to earth truth. You know, they bring a lot of truth into it, but they also every once in a while throw in some theatrics, and to spice it up, you know, especially if they're not getting much on their instruments, you know, much hard evidence on their instruments, then they want to, you know, force something to happen through theatrics. You see what I'm saying? So, as someone who's clairvoyant looking at this, and I can sense the energy of things, and I can sense what's really going on, what spirits are or are not there, versus what they're saying. And even when they bring in, you know, psychics, unfortunately, a lot of those psychics end up sensing things wrong, or flat out lying for film on purpose. They know they're lying, and they're just lying to make it a better story. And you know, luckily I think in this one, the people that they bring in, their intent is pure. You'll see in a minute now that not everything is the way that they see it as. So this is called Vulture Mine. It's a place that has been on and off activity wise, meaning that in the sense that people try to mine it and then a lot of shit happens. They get scared off, people die even, and then the mine closes down. And then every once in a while, someone tries to bring the mine new life and reopen it again. Apparently it is now active again, but there's also people who visit it for the paranormal side of things. And that's when these two people got sent to the hospital. Apparently something really bad happened and they say they are attacked by spirits. I'm not going to lie, spirits do have the ability to either save a life or end a life. They do have that ability in certain circumstances, usually not to anyone who is pure intent. Usually it has to be someone who's of ill intent. That's just kind of the way the universe turns. Not going to spend any time on that. So I'm going to see, okay, story that I've watched, the introduction to it, how much of it really is real, how much of it is just theatrics. I'm going to be playing a bit of the, I don't have the means to play the actual episode on here, but I'm going to be playing some of the direct audio from the film, and I'm going to try to put, if I can, some screenshots up for you as I react to this.
Jay and Marie Yates, and she was the host of this conference, and she told us that there were a few people multiple people that got severely affected, but two of them got so badly affected that they had to go to the hospital.
Constantine around.
Yeah,
I started
okay.
feeling not very good, to be honest with you. I even told Jay, I was like, hey, I'm feeling a little bit
She's got
underwater.
bad, really
I
bad
was like, I don't know what's
energy.
going on. All of a sudden, it was like a fist. A man-sized fist. I was completely onto the ground like this, almost going onto the ground.
I could tell she was in pain because she was crunched over, and I was kind of trying to just come to her aid to see what was going on.
I'm telling you though, the lass, she's got something really, I think they call her Marie, or was that the other? I'm not good at names, but that lass is really, she is doing something. Well, let me just put, her intent, the core of her soul is like nails on chalk. Okay, I'm sensing her energy. She's got really offensive, nails on chalk, bad intentions energy. I really do though think that she's telling the truth about something that attacked her. I really do think she legit did feel really bad and physically felt horrid and ill. But I think whatever attacked her, you know, was probably a protector spirit. So I don't sense anything of true evil or malice that has attacked her. I sense something angry with her, rightfully so, and gave her what she deserved. Do not say much about the second last, at least they haven't yet, but I imagine a similar thing happened with the second last that went to the hospital.
Just spent in that assay building was completely different from when we were here 10 years ago. It feels like something is very, very different here now, definitely. And the things that some people are telling us is it seems like there's a darkness here. Mm-hmm. And in the very far distance, that is active mining.
Sure. Of course, before a lot of everything around here got cultivated into what it is now, you know, the indigenous people, you know, were here and they had connection to the land here. And so when an outside source came in, disrupted everything.
So everything that he just said is true. That rings true, especially. It's very sad. It's heartbreaking. But it is true. A lot of indigenous people even died through all that, through the people who settled there and scarred the land.
Tribes that are not here anymore.
It's a different land that's speaking now.
They say that there are beings, giants, there are monsters, dark entities that were around. And when they cleansed this earth of that darkness, they had to put those bodies, that evil, somewhere. And certain sacred sites. And then this is what we found out was one of them.
His intentions were okay.
That was buried here. The evil, those giants, those monsters. And there was guardian spirits that were placed on top to guard that. And when the conquistadors, U.S. military, and other people came to flush out the Native Americans, chase them away, put them on reservations, and kill them. When that happened, there is no more caretakers of this land. There is no more humans to do the ceremonies, and there's no protection there.
Has obviously got lost in translation, and he's not good enough in his psychic ability to know the truth, and he's very confused, and he's just blurting out what he's been told, and he's not seeing the entire picture here. What really happened, let me just back up. What he said was, the land's no longer being protected because of these, quote, evil giants spirit that have always been there, that have been there even before the settlers came, and that the caretakers, would bury these evil giant spirits underground and have protector spirits to keep them there. And they said that when the people dug up the land, it released the evil giant, and now the land is no longer protected. That's what he says. Okay, it's a bit hard to follow, so that's what I'm just trying to explain. So basically, no. First off, when you do something, a ceremony like that to protect the land, and you bind protector spirits to the land, you ask their permission, of course, but though they're willing to protect that land, that is set in stone had you do it right. And I'm pretty sure if they're ancient tribes, they knew enough to do it right, because the earth is dug up. It doesn't mean that protectors are gone. And to be honest with you, I don't see any energy. I don't see the evil giants thing that he's talking about. I don't sense at any point in past, future, or present that those, quote, evil giants were there. Talks about dark energy in a different way than I do. I say it literally. Light energy is day, and literal light, fire. Dark energy is night, moon, ice. He's saying dark energy is literal, like evil, good, bad, and I don't see it, the terminology for light and dark that way. I'm just going to keep, in order to prevent confusion, I'm just going to keep, calling what he calls dark, I call evil. We have two different terminologies. Okay, so yeah, I don't see any sign that was or is currently actually an evil, large, massive evil spirit. The only thing that I see is some relic energy of evil humans, people who's the settlers there that did evil things. Some are alive still, actively doing evil things, and greedy, selfish intent. Maybe even some people who are mining there currently. And some are from spirits who have either perished long ago, or they did say a lot of people, mines collapsed several times and a lot of people died. So something like that, that's kind of lingering, but that's human energy. That's exceptionally weak. And to say that there are no protectors there anymore, he cannot sense anything. It's completely numb. Because I can sense a massive amount of protector energy, what I would call night protector, moon protector, dark protector. Again, I have different terminology for the term dark, but the night protectors are everywhere. Even during the day, they are there, and they are the ones that are causing people to feel ill. It doesn't matter. I think this is what happened. Truthfully, this is what happened. Somewhere it obviously got lost in translation, and no one's been observant enough to see the truth. You guys need to work with Owl Totem or something, because there's a lot of hidden truth there that's quite obvious. You should just open your fucking eyes. The protectors are there, and to say that they're not there is like spitting in their face, because they're doing so much for you right now, and so much for the land. Say that they're not there, not doing anything, completely dishonor their presence by not even acknowledging, not even knowing that they're there, apparently. And I think they do forgive him, because I think he's just confused and he doesn't know any better, but I want to know who taught him, because he ought to have known how to sense the energies. That the first thing when you apprentice somebody, they should teach you. He obviously has not learned that, at least not enough. I think he's learned it some. I don't think he's learned it enough. I think this whole story is just trusted, not ever tried to open his eyes and see what really happened. You can see that the ancient tribes that were there before that they got there, the ancient tribes he was talking about, they're the ones that did the hex. The hex is basically just a protective hex. Anyone of ill intent is the only one that the hex actually applies to. Doesn't mean that you actually have to actively be doing anything, which explains why the lady got violently ill when she was just sitting there and not actually actively doing anything. If your heart is of ill intent, if you're evil, these protector spirits are bound to this land through a ceremony that was set in stone. It cannot be unearthed simply by moving some dirt, okay? It's still there, and that's what they're doing. These people that have mysteriously died or gotten ill, that it's not an evil negative force, it's a protector spirits fighting against evil people. If you notice, anyone that died, they're people that are doing things for selfish reasons, or they're not actively doing anything, but they've got nails on chalk energy. You notice through a lot of the investigations and things, anyone who seems to be a pure intent is completely left alone, unscathed. That was the intent of these ancient tribes. They did wasn't to protect the lands from the giants. It was to protect the lands from human settlers, from anyone evil, period, that walked that earth, that walked that sacred land. And that's what they did. There's a hanging tree that I saw, said all the bad energy, whatever. No, actually that tree's a very strong tree, got really nice energy. I don't see any residual really energy from hanging. Maybe a few spirits lingering, but I don't think it's due to anything about the hangings. The only thing I might see is if somebody wrongly accused of something. There is some dark protector energy around that tree. I sense very little human spirit energy around the tree. Maybe a little bit. The thing with the rock was so dumb. Somebody throws a rock or something. No, a lot of these other things I don't believe. These sensors, things I don't believe. I have every time to go over everything, but there is one thing I say for sure. I think an investigation was real. Was a spirit here. So I do think Zach, he is right about that. Zach does have a mild ability to sense presence of spirit. It's an unexplained voice, they call it. Some of those might be real. So there's a point where he talks about, it's some kind of experience he had, and he feels like something came over him, he gets really angry. Part of that's real, part of it you can just tell through the tone of his voice is not real. You just sense the energy as well, what parts were real about it and what parts weren't. Because some of it's real, I am going to go over it. And also at the end, something quite disturbing that I really want to touch base on.
Looking at you, and I just did not have good thoughts of you at all. Almost like hallucinogenic, visions and stuff. I was like, whoa, what is this?
You could tell at the beginning he was telling the truth, and then the next half of it, he might have seen some kind of vision, but he's really exaggerating it if he did. It's overreaction there. You just sense it in his voice.
They overtook me.
Yeah, so that's the evil that's here.
That's the really disturbing part, that they call it, that's the evil giant, that's what took over you. No. Here to tell you right now, it was a spirit. I could sense a spirit was hanging around him. It liked him because it realised that he might actually listen to him. Or, ironically, these native people thinking that that spirit is an evil giant. Zach is one of the only ones around. He's a little bit impressionable, might listen to him. He's trying to show him, no, this is who I really am. This is what I really feel like. And this is why I feel this way. No one will listen to me. A spirit that died from the settlers, by the settlers' hand. I'm an indigenous spirit, used to walk these lands. Now my own people think I am the evil. I'm actually trying to help protect this land. That's why I feel so angry. That is what that spirit was trying to say, and it's really sad when the people who should understand you most don't understand you any better than the people who slaughtered you.